What's up guys, Visual Maximus here. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys a Shadow of Mordor audio commentary. So sit back and enjoy the gameplay. It's just some standard gameplay in Shadow of Mordor. I had nothing else to sort of plan for this until I played the game and I started thinking more and more about the franchise as a whole. So I just want to give my 2 cents on it basically and sort of give my input on what they should do next in this well-rounded franchise. It's gotten to a good start in my opinion. So Shadow of Mordor is basically, as it implies, based upon Mordor, and it's based upon the shadows within Mordor, etc. So yes, it's in the J.R.R. Tolkien Lord of the Rings universe, but it's not that much interactive. That's the best way I can say to the Lord of the Rings movie franchise. In fact, the creators, who are called Monolith, I believe, or somewhere around that name, they actually wanted to make this unique and didn't want to rehash this off the Lord of the Rings movie franchise, and that's perfectly what they said. In fact, it's called a Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor, when in fact they could have called it Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor and got a ton more money. But that's actually what I see in they want to make this a franchise. They want to make more of these, and I think really if they want to do it more, then they should actually in fact base it upon a trilogy of games, and that's my personal opinion. I mean, the Lord of the Rings, the actual universe doesn't have that much villains, but it's got villains, and you can make some up. Now, the main villain in this game is called Black Hand. He's actually the Black Hand of Sauron. He does everything for Sauron, basically, as it implies, the Black Hand of Sauron. So he's a dirty guy, if you will, for Sauron. Now, my main thing is, if they want to make it forward, then they should take one thing out of the Lord of the Rings franchise main villain. I think the next villain be Saruman, because we've seen how Saruman in the movies, for me anyway, the guy was scary as hell. I don't know about you guys, but he gave me the creeps. So I think if they really wanted to show the immense power of Saruman, and Saruman being one of the immensely powerful wizards of Middle Earth, it could open up a whole possibility of things. I mean, I get that the developers of this game don't want to take too many things. In fact, they don't want to take anything from the Lord of the Rings movie franchise, because they think it will be copying. And to be honest, for the main consumer, you want to give them something fresh, something new. You don't want to give them something that's already been done in terms of been done in a movie. And I think that they're going about it the right way, definitely the best way that I've seen, where they're giving their own stuff, and I can accept that. But from what I hear, the climax to the Black Hand ending isn't all that good, and that could always make a major problem for fans who can just say that they made this villain up out of nothing, and basically that's why the climax to it was so bad, because you know, it was made up. They didn't have a big enough story for him. But Saruman, I should say, has a much broader storyline to go with, and I think that's what the second game, if they make a second game, should focus on Saruman and his army of orcs, because we've seen how powerful that guy is, and the movies just slightly touched upon that. I mean, I know the movies killed him, but Saruman's so old that they can just base it upon another time in Saruman's life. And then to end it on a trilogy, I don't want them to sort of milk this as the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, I'll bring the Assassin's Creed franchise because yes, it does seem like it's copied some elements from the Assassin's Creed franchise, or borrowed some elements from the Assassin's Creed franchise, but there's nothing bad in that, because a lot of developers, a lot of games borrow from each other. It's just some make it more viable, I suppose, in others than others, I should say. I mean, Call of Duty probably copies more, but since Call of Duty is their #1 FPS game, you wouldn't expect it. The thing with Shadow of Mordor is it is copying in some elements of the Assassin's Creed franchise, but at the same time it could be copying the Batman franchise, and we know Warner Brothers Games had its hand in making this game, so they could have just been copying a bit of Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, etc. You get a bigger picture, but there is no doubt that it did copy a bit. But with the Assassin's Creed franchise with Ubisoft milking the franchise to its utmost fullest, you have to beg the question: do Warner Brother games do the same, or do they just make it a trilogy? Now with Batman Arkham, the actual series, they're apparently ending it, or so I heard a few months ago, that they're going to be ending it with Batman Arkham Knight, and I think that's a very good thing. If I can get 3 to 4 games out of this franchise where it doesn't get too much, I'm more than happy. But for the third game, I'd say that bring Sauron, the actual big bad Sauron, into it and end it there. Have the main villain appear right there, or better yet, have the next game filled with Sauron, and then have the third game Saruman. Now we've seen the Dark Knight trilogy did the same. It had Ra's al Ghul, a Batman villain that at the time not that many people knew about, but he was a very interesting Batman villain, and they pulled him off well, I cannot say the word now, but they pulled him off amazingly. That's the best way of saying it. And then the second movie got Batman's most well-known villain, as in the Joker, into the movie franchise, and then the third one pulled in another well-known. And then I think that's what Lord of the Rings, or the Shadow of Mordor franchise, should do. They should pull in Sauron in the second or the third, depending on how they do it, where the hype is so unreal to the third, where they've pulled in, because after the second one, and if it has Sauron in it, the hype will be unreal. I mean, if they pull him off, it'll be amazing. If they don't, then, you know, it won't. But the third one, Saruman, simple. That's all I want from it, a trilogy. So like the video, comment your thoughts and opinions, share the video, and peace.